Get them?
Just a few days ago, yeah.
All right.
When the new images arrive, they are much more detailed. They come from a camera called HiRISE, the most powerful ever sent to Mars. It can see objects as small as an office desk. Already it has imaged the Mars rovers. It's also found both Vikings in the middle of those boulder fields. HiRISE has also photographed landing site B.
First thing you see in the big picture is these crater shapes up here about half the size.
And
of
what
this
it
top of
sees
our digging
isn't
unit.
good.
Cuts across a hole around the craters. If you look closely,
It's a lot of rock.
these are unacceptable. So this site has been rejected already.
Well, the first few images that came back were very scary, actually.
Actually, polygons. You can
We don't
trace.
want to land where there's that much concentrations of rock.
The level, this is
Every image shows the same thing. Rocks slightly larger than the lander everywhere. The Phoenix team thought they were ahead of schedule on the landing process. Now, they're behind a boulder-sized 8-ball.
That's the worst situation for a lander, because now you're landing on the full height of the boulder, and you have to, even small boulders, if they're perched on the surface, you know, can damage the spacecraft.
There were rocks a couple times bigger than our lander. I would have never moved forward with landing in that region. At least 30% probability of failure.
Finding a new landing site is going to be another big distraction.
Mars constantly throws hardballs at us and surprises us. And we have to be abundantly clear to ourselves and to the people around us that the systems that we build are not perfect.
The new problems are piling up, one on top of another. And with Gentry Lee acting as the mission's conscience, everyone is nervous.
We can absolutely stop the mission. The job of the risk engineering crew that's doing what we're doing now is to give as clear a picture of the risks across the project, all of them, the landing site risks, the radar risks, anything else that might come, to management so that they can make a decision.
The team is putting a lot of faith into HiRISE. Over the next few weeks, it will photograph alternate landing sites, but time is running out.
When you work so hard to get the system ready to fly, and then we're going to nurse this thing all the way to Mars, you'd hate to take a risk on the landing.
It feels as though Phoenix is now drowning in data, pouring in from different orbiters and more than a dozen different instruments, including optical and infrared cameras.
544 images stacked up per scene. I'm not ready to say we have too much data. You know, we're trying to reduce risk and just getting everything organized so we get to the right products that will reduce that risk.
Scientists are now counting individual rocks in the 6-kilometer wide photo strips.
We do thousands of different simulated landings with these kind of rocks and see how often we actually hit one.
Other than a rock number, the distribution of H's over D's for that population.
But at the landing site review meetings, everyone is on their toes. If there's a flaw in their analysis, Gentry Lee will sniff it out.
Number one job to do. Yes, I can be pretty hard on the guys. The people who come to work here tend to be la creme de la creme, the very brightest engineering graduates from the very best schools. They are used to being at the head of their class, to having all the answers correct. So someone, and this is my job, has to ask them the questions that maybe they've never been asked before. There is no way you look up in the back of the book the answers to how big does a parachute have to be to land you safely on Mars.
The meeting is over for now. The landing team is zeroing in on a new site they call Green Valley. HiRISE shows it as a place with gentle slopes and very few visible rocks, but it will need more study. Peter leaves the landing site meeting, hoping HiRISE won't have any more expensive surprises. He can't afford it. He's heading to Washington, D.C. for a meeting with NASA brass to ask for more money.